But let's tap in, man. Let's get to talking about our draft picks, man. Obviously, in the first round, to start this thing off, went with Derrick Harmon, man. Big body, interior D tackle, man. Big fan of his game, man. And why is that? Well, number one, man, 6'4", 313, but can play up and down that D-line, man. Can line up at the nose tackle, be a 1 technique, could be a 3 technique. He can even bump out to where Cam Hayward plays as a 5 technique. He is that versatile. But on top of that, man, explosive, right? You watch this big dude get out of his stance, man. He gets off the football, man. He can penetrate into the backfield, man, and he's a problem both versus the run and the pass. I think that he bends really well. I think that he understands how to rush the passer. And I think that that's another feather in his cap, because some guys are big and athletic, but they don't necessarily have a plan when they're playing. They don't necessarily understand how they want to attack. They're the person that's in front of them. But to me, he always seems to have some type of plan. And I think that he can still get a lot better fundamentally from like I said, from a fundamental and technical standpoint. And I still feel like his floor, though, is already high. Because that was part of the knock with a guy like Larry Ogunjobi, with a guy like Stephon Tuitt. Technique not always consistent, but the athleticism and the get off was there. To me, when I look at Derrick, I'm like, man, he is athletic and explosive, but he is very much on the fundamentally sound side, which to me makes me really intrigued about him. And I think that he's going to be a big time asset. Now, we obviously heard about the story surrounding his mother, man. Tragic, man. Heart breaks for him. It's like beautiful and tragic all at the same time, right? He becomes a first round draft pick. He gets a chance to, talk with his mother who's on life support and passes away shortly after finding out that he was a first round draft pick. So you get those final moments. You get that chance to, experience your life's work up until that point. But like I said, it's unfortunate that it's followed by one of the craziest and just, toughest things to overcome, at least from my experience, when you lose your mother, man. Like, I could only imagine the roller coaster that has been his weekend, and all we could do is give him space, lean, in terms on showing him support in all the different ways that we can, because it's going to be a lot for him to deal with, and it's not going to just go away tomorrow or next week. It's going to be something he's going to deal with every single day that he puts on that uniform, man, and hopefully he can use this as a motivation. Hopefully he can use this as something that just continues to be his constant reminder of why he does what he does, why he works as hard as he works, and ultimately the person that he is trying to still honor even with them passing. So, like I said, man, a lot of thoughts and prayers with the homie Derrick Harmon, man, but super, super excited about him joining the black and gold, man. Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Next up, though, shout out, man. Iowa. Man, we was Big Ten hunting this weekend. I tell you that. Kaleb Johnson, 6'1", 224. Nice running back. Picked him, obviously, 83rd overall in the third round. And he is for certain one of those guys, too, man, that to me reminds me of Melvin Gordon. I know we were saying L Bell, but the more I went back and watched, I'm like, bro, I see Melvin Gordon just not as explosive. Right, because we know Melvin, he was the one that can get to the edge and then still take a 70-80 on you. To me, though, when I look at Kaleb Johnson, big back, man, nice vision in terms of being able to be to me, I think, a silky smooth zone runner. But I also feel like he has the ability to be that one-cut downhill runner as well. To me, the contact balance stands out. The vision stands out. He has patience, but it's not patience in the sense of L Bell, where we're like, he'll stop his feet patient. His patience is more, like I said, the Melvin Gordon type. Trying to think some of these other, 6'1", 6'2", longer, linear type body. Obviously the Ollie Gordon types, right? Reminds me of more of that type of back. And that's why you would hear me at times mention Kaleb Johnson and Ollie Gordon at the same time, saying like, yeah, I like them both, but obviously Kaleb was a little bit faster. But to me, I think that, he is going to be a nice compliment to Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren, explosive backs, powerful backs, but smaller backs. When you talk about Kaleb Johnson, he is the guy that we're going to look at this. I need 10 to 12, 10 to 15 reps of you doing the grunt, the you taking the big body shot. So that way I ain't got to have Jaylen Warren taking all them shots. You feel me? Like, that's the thought process, man. But I like the value on it. I'm not gonna just sit here today and say, oh, he's a upgrade over Najee, but I do feel like he puts us in a framework that he should be able to at least give us the down in and down out availability that Najee was giving us. We will see if he can sustain that. And then obviously the added element would be if you can give us that explosive part where we're breaking off a little bit more frequently, 15 plus yard runs. That's the thing that we felt was lacking with Najee's game. So we will see how Kaleb Johnson can continue to evolve with that. But I'm excited about the Kaleb Johnson pick, man. I think he's going to be a nice compliment to our backfield that we currently have going right now. All right. Then from there, man, in the 4th round, this was a little bit of a surprise. I like it, but I was definitely surprised. All right. We went with an LB, an edge rusher. Shout out to the Ohio State, though, Mike Hood. I know you was smiling ear to ear, man. Team captain, national champion, Jack Sawyer. Took him 123rd overall in the 4th round. Super productive player, man. But this is one of those guys, man. He rushes the passer, he plays the run, and he does it in a physical way. All right. Has a nice inside move, nice change up in terms of his rushing plan. But he passed the eyeball test. I mean, I feel like that's when you talk Ohio State players, all of them look like massive NFL football players. You're like, bro, you are 6'4", 260. You look every bit of 6'4", 260, bro. Like, holy smokes, man. Interesting move though, man. To me, man, watching him on tape, I love him against the run. I feel like he wins versus the pass consistently, but I want to see how he continues to evolve and just continue to grow that. He wins more off of actually like rushing moves versus what you traditionally see at the collegiate level where a guy is just a flamethrower, right? He has a great get off and he's running by everybody. That's usually my knock on the Penn State LOBs, not Abdul Carter, but traditionally them Penn State guys are just great athletes. They can run by you and you get to this level and it's like, all right, these guys are just as fast. What is your rush plan? What is your move? To me, I feel like Jack Sawyer actually has a rush plan. He actually has moves, and I do like that. But I love him versus the run. And watching that, I was just like, yo, we are not going to allow teams to run the football against us. That's the mindset. If Jack has to get out there early, we are not going to allow teams to run the football. Now, to add to it, some of the other things that I like is this. Shoo. Oh, Jack Sawyer here. I don't know if y'all remember. It was a post a little while ago. To me, I'm just like, okay, are we trying to get a little insurance here, a little leverage here, a little just in case? We can't get this contract done right. I got another 6'4", 260-pound edge rush, baby. I got Highsmith and Nick Herbig. I feel like we'll be all right. I was just like, okay, is that what this is? Is that the if it gets weird pick? Because, man, I didn't think we needed an outside linebacker. Y'all know what I was talking. I was like, yo, if we want to talk secondary picks, right, secondary needs, I'm like, okay, D-line, cornerback, off-ball linebacker, wide receiver. If you want to go down that route, we knew running back and quarterback, absolutely. But, yeah, I was just like, man, all right. Jack Sawyer. Okay. But, hey, national champion and, more importantly, team captain, man. He was a part of that movement as well, man. That same team that lost to Michigan last game, regular season, where it looked like it was going to be bleak, fire everybody. Who's the guy? A part of that defense leading the charge. And we also saw him in the biggest moments, man. College football playoffs extended format, make play after play, and have one of the biggest plays of all college football, where you had the strip sack, trifecta, scoop, score, take it to the house. Insane play versus Texas, man. We'll never forget it, man. I jumped out my seat watching it, man. So the fact that Jack Sawyer was the pick, man, to me, I was excited about it. But at the same time, I was excited more so after the fact, because we know during the fact who was available, man. This is still when we're watching Shador just kind of sit there on the board and just like, yo, we need a quarterback. So I ain't gonna lie, when this pick happened, I said, yeah, we ain't taking a quarterback. We all on Aaron Rodgers. This was the pick. They kind of signaled that to me. All right. But like I said, man, shout out to Jack Sawyer, though, man. I'm a fan of his game, man. I think that he's going to be a nice addition. Great depth to start it off, man, if that's your 4th guy. But more importantly, man, like I said, it gives you insurance, man. If one of your top 3 dudes in terms of TJ, Highsmith, or Herbig go down, you got a guy that you feel very confident in. But more importantly, if contracts, negotiations with TJ Watt don't go the way that we want them to go, This is one of the ones, because I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. I'm watching him and I'm like, I can see it. Like in what do they call it? In the multiverse, right. If this is TJ Watt in this universe, I could see a couple multiverses over where Jack Sawyer is the TJ Watt, because I'm like, you got some similarities with your game, with your body movements. You obviously got the prototypical size. You got some stuff. I can see the similarities. I'm just throwing it out there. And you Big Ten on top, and I'm just throwing it out there. But I don't want to mess up our day to day. I don't want to mess up our day to day. But shout out to Jack Sawyer though. Definitely a fan of the Jack Sawyer pickup, man. Alrighty. But then we followed it up, getting the big boy that we were talking about a little bit earlier, Yahya Black, man, the 6'6", 336-pound interior D tackle from Iowa. To me, man, like I said, little less athletic Cam Hayward type. That's what he puts me in the mind of. And him and Derrick Harmon, seeing those two picks, I was like, yo, you want Cam Haywards. You're looking for that type. Big, strong, heavy hands, plays behind their pads. And when I say heavy hands, when they put their hands on these offensive linemen, you see the offensive lineman's momentum stop, right? When they put their hand on a double T, it's like, you see that guy stop. You see that guy kind of jolt back. That's the heavy hand. Some guys place their hands on, opponents, and usually it has zero resistance, but you'll see those guys kind of like engage and they'll, build up to it afterwards. Then you got them dudes, it's like, yo, he just got cinder blocks for hands. He's just, pow. When he touch you, you're reacting back. When I look at Yahya, I see a lot of that. And to me, I'm excited about it, man. I think that getting him in here with the Derrick Harmon, with the Keanu Benton, with the Cam Hayward, I think that all of those guys learning under Cam are going to, have monumental jumps, because Cam is the ultimate technician, the ultimate fundamentalist. But on top of that, his effort is unmatched. And that's the one thing that I will never forget from 2014 to when I left to when I come back and I watch him in training camp now. He's still that guy that after a play is done, if he's on the field and it's a run play that spit, that burst, they got an explosive, he's chasing the ball carrier 30 yards downfield, 40 yards downfield. And it's contagious. It sets a standard, and it lets you know that you can't play in this room at this position and not play with this type of effort. And I love that about my dog Killer Cam, man. Love that. So for Yahya, I think this is a great opportunity for him. And I think that he should benefit from this, man, in a large way, man. All right. But shout out to Yahya Black. And trust me, man, I'm going to go through, like I said, talk about these guys a little bit more. And then after that, I'm going to come back to all of y'all, though, man. All right. Because I want to get some interaction, some engagement. All right. I got to know how y'all truly feel about these guys. All right. So coming soon. But after that, man, 6th round, we finally took us a quarterback. Finally. Pick 185 overall in the 6th round. We went with the national champion, Will Howard. I'm a fan. 6'4", 236. Got a big arm. He can sling it, but he can also run. Not crazy athletic, but athletic enough. Most definitely can run. And tough. Dealt with some injuries, man. Had some adversity in his career, but tough. And more importantly, I look at what he was able to do this year specifically. The expectations at Ohio State, losing to Michigan, how he was talked about, how that staff was talked about, everybody was talked about. And then you look at the gauntlet that Ohio State had to go and play for the college football playoffs. We talked about some of these teams in the college football playoffs, and we're like, yeah, man, they got lucky. They got a great set of matchups. That's not how we talked about Ohio State. We was like, yo, Ohio State, they got to go through they got some killers they got to deal with. And he was the leader, the captain on offense. Now, granted, he had a lot of players get drafted on that offense, and that's the part to me that I look at as a pro and a con. Some people are going to say, man, you played on a loaded roster, you should look good. I look at it and say, yeah, you played on an NFL roster, but you also had to make that talent go, especially in the postseason, which we did see him do. And at one of the biggest critical moments, gotta have it, everything on the line. He's the one who makes the big boy throw it on the grass to Jeremiah Smith, let alone the player that you're throwing it to. I'm more impressed with the fact that you had the guts and the cojones to actually throw the ball that day, boy. Playing beyond the sticks, right? Possession down. That's Will Howard. That's, to me, the thing that makes me excited. I'm not about to sit here and act like he's going to be a day one starter. Nah. But what I'm excited about is this. My whole thought process going into the draft, and y'all heard me say it time and time again. If Mason is our starting quarterback, that's fine. But I would like to see Mason have to beat somebody out in the process of becoming the starting quarterback. I don't care if that's Jalen Milroe, Shedeur Sanders, Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, or anybody else, Dylan Gabriel included. I just want to know that whoever is QB1, if you're not named Aaron Rodgers, you actually had to earn it. You actually had to go out here and in a competition throughout the offseason prove that you were more consistent than that player. Will Howard, to me, is a valuable candidate. I like Will Howard more than I like Skylar Thompson just as a pure quarterback. So to me, now I feel like, okay, if Mason has to be the guy, at least I know he beat out a national champion who played extremely well in that process. And hey, if it's Will Howard that has to start, well, look, it was going to be bad. All right, let's try to do what we do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play great defense. Hey, the same way you had a Jeremiah Smith and Mecca Buka and all that other talent out there, treated the same way. We throwing verticals and back shoulders, baby. You know what we on. So that's kind of my mindset with it as it pertains to Will Howard. I'm not looking at him and saying he's a world beater, but what says he can't develop more? And that's the other part. We act as if, all right, whatever you are when you come into the league, that's what you are when you leave the league. No, this is your entry point. We like, okay, you got a floor. It's not the best floor, but it is a floor. But we like your ceiling as well. Let's see what you could develop into. Let's see what, now that you're in here, now that you don't have to worry about going to, class, you got that test. No. You just football 100% now. Let's see what type of development you can have. And the flip side from Mason Rudolph, how do you respond? How do you respond to this new adversity now? We know we still may be waiting to see about Aaron Rodgers, but before we know what that is, you know what this one is now. How do you handle this adversity? And to me, I'm excited about both of these dudes, man. I don't care in terms of what we might be projecting because, heck, we could go down the list of, well, did you project this guy to be that? No, but he developed into that. Y'all won't complain about that, right? So what's the difference with this one? For all the skeptics out there that are, it's Will Howard, I don't care about that. Oh, it's Mason, I don't care about that. All right, cool. But then when they actually do produce, don't be the ones jumping out your seat, right? Because that's the other part of it. It's like, yeah, we want to wait till we get the final result and actually see the answers. But when it's the part to actually see, okay, if you believe that it can, or if you think that it can, this is your chance to actually talk about it right now. I'm just letting you know there are certain things that both these dudes do well, man. But that's just from my perspective. Well, everybody gonna have the same perspective, and that's the beautiful part of this thing, man. But to me, I'm excited about the Will Howard pick, man. Like I said, bring in a dude that is championship pedigree that I saw produce at the highest level. And yeah, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. All right. But from there, we also, and I will say this too. The Will Howard pickup doesn't deter us from doing anything else we want to do quarterback-wise. If we want to still sign Aaron Rodgers this year, we can still sign Aaron Rodgers. Heck, if you want to draft a quarterback in the first round next year, guess what? You still can do that. Nothing right now is off the table because of a Will Howard pick. And that's the other part where I'm just like, I don't feel like I lost right there. I needed a quarterback. I got me one. And I honestly thought that Will Howard would have been gone for the 6th round. But the way that this quarterback thing played out, such is life, man. Such is life. So to me, man, I'm excited, though. Let's see what he does when he gets into camp, man. Let's see what he does. All righty. Then from there, man, it wouldn't be a Steelers draft if we didn't tap into the bloodlines. No. My bad. I was Roman Reigns. Wrong bloodline. All right. The other bloodline, the Steelers bloodline. You know that Steelers bloodline, baby. Did your cousin play? Did your daddy play? Did your mama date anybody? Is the cafeteria, do you know anybody in the staff? Is there any way, shape, or form that, you have a tie to the organization? Shout out to my man, Carson Bruener. 226 pick overall in the 7th round, man. Off-ball linebacker, man, 6'1", 227. I like his game, man. But it's funny, man, because, yes, the first thing they say is the son of former Pittsburgh Steelers tight end and current scout for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mark Bruener. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's get it. So you cut the tape on. Moves well, man. Off-ball linebacker, more of a zone dropping LB, man. Did create a good amount of turnovers at Washington, though. Very instinctive. I love how he attacks the football, though. That's the one thing that continues to jump off, whether it's in pass or run. To me personally, I think early on, special teams is going to be the name of his game. We love competition at every position. I look at Tyler Metcalf, I look at Mark Robinson, and I say, this is that variation. This is the newer, younger version of that, because he is a mix between both of those dudes. Smart, instinctive, sees what he's supposed to see, but has some of that athleticism, has some of that size, has some of that burst. Not full burst like Mark Robinson, but I think that he does have some of that athleticism in here that will make him a little bit more challenging to get up out of here. And then at the same time, when you're talking about the cerebral element of it, seeing what he's supposed to see, understanding throwing lanes, understanding run, like his fit and stuff like that, I think that he has a little bit more of that, or at least a level that will be able to challenge a guy like a Tyler Metcalf at times, man. So I do like that part right there. And like I said, man, at this stage of the draft, you're looking for, if this is somebody that you personally feel good about, or if it has a cool storyline, or in this case, man, you got a little bit of that family tied to it then, man. So to me, I like that with Carson Bruener. We will see how he gets acclimated to the scenario, man, of being a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. But to me, man, it doesn't hurt to bring in LBs. It doesn't hurt to bring in competition. It also doesn't hurt to, like I said, man, keep the bloodlines going, man. Keep the bloodlines going. And then the last pick that we had in the NFL draft, man, was pick 229 in the 7th round, Donte Kent, the corner / punt returner. Dude could fly, right? 5'10", $189. He is very thin, but dude can run with the wind. I think I saw they had him timed at like a 4.38, and 4.38 when you 5'10", $189, it looked like 4.2. I ain't even gonna hold you, man. Dude can run, dude look fast, and more importantly, on top of that, the thing that I really enjoyed was this, man. Some players test fast, but they don't play fast, or they don't play as fast as they tested. To me, when I'm watching Donte Kent specifically as a punt returner, he is playing with his foot all the way on the gas pedal, man. When he is running through the smokestack, man, when he is trying to make these returns, he is fearless from what I saw. And I'm like, all right, I can cook with that. Speed kills at this level, man. If you're a fast guy, that's why you can be smaller as long as you're faster. It's when you're slow, that's when it becomes really, really challenging on you, man. But Donte has a defining characteristic, which is speed, which is elusiveness. And when he has the football in his hand, I think it really highlights it. Now, him as a defender, I know while he was at Central Michigan, man, he was playing a little bit outside corner and inside corner. I think he's a slot corner. I would leave him there and allow him time to just kind of grow and develop. I don't personally anticipate him beating out a Beanie Bishop, beating out a Juan Thornhill, beating out anybody that, we might have named ahead of time as a slot corner, just because I think he has to improve his fundamentals, his vision, and just technique as a whole for that. But the effort that he plays with continues to show. That was another reason why I could tell you he runs fast, because it's like, man, unfortunately, you see him have to chase players down in certain elements because of them creating separation or because of them getting open, but he catches them all. That's the other part. It's like, he eats up the grass in a hurry. So I'm like, even if you are out there and, he has to get out there on defense early on and is in a little bit of a bind, he has the effort and he has the ability to correct his mistakes due to the speed that he plays with, at least at that level. So obviously we don't want that to be a reoccurring theme at this level, because these athletes are a lot bigger, stronger, faster, and the more you play that game, the worse it could get for you. But as a whole, man, I'm a fan of it, man. Like I said, at this stage of the draft, and it's one of those things where you just say, all right, what is it about this guy that I may or may not like? Let's see how we can implement him into the program and what he might, be able to do for us, man. But as a whole, man, Donte Kent, man, I ain't tripping on the pick, man. I'm not tripping on it, man. So shout out to Donte being our final 7th round pick. All right.